Hello, welcome back. My name is Charlie, and I had just had the best reading month in recent memory. July has been filled with nothing but heavy hitters. Everything has slapped. So I'm very excited to talk to you about that. This is the video I do at the end of every month. It's just my wrap up. I'm going to talk about the books that I read this month, the books that I'm planning on reading next month, and then a little bit of channel stats, how the channel did this past month, and what I'm planning on doing in next month. That's it. I want to get into it because, again, really excited about these books. I started the month off really strong because it was time to read another entry of the Dresden Files. So I was up to book 3 of Dresden Files, which is called Grave Peril, which, if you're not familiar, Dresden Files is like a crime, like a fantasy crime kind of series. So it's Wizard with a Gun, and this one is Wizard with a Gun takes vampires, and it was really good. It's just fun. The Dresden Files have just continued to be very fun. This was definitely a lot stronger than book 2, which again I still had fun with, but it was definitely a step down from book 1, which was really great. This was at least on par with book 1, potentially better. There's a funny thing that happens in this book right at the beginning where you're introduced to a new character, and this new character seems to be very important for the series going forward. But he kind of just shows up, and Jim Butcher, the author, like pretends that you already know who this guy is, which was very weird, and it made me confused, and it made me feel like I missed something in book 1 and 2, and I was like kind of going back and trying to figure it out. But I'm pretty sure Jim Butcher is just like, oh yeah, no, he's been here the whole time. Just pretend you know who this guy is. So whatever, it worked. I got over that really quickly, and the new character is great, and I loved their interactions with Harry Dresden, our main character, and he added a different tone, sort of, definitely a different tone than Harry himself carries throughout the series, and they play off of each other really well. So I think he's an important character to the story, and I feel like Jim Butcher just didn't think of him for the first 2 books, and then he was like, wait a minute, this is what I need. That's kind of what it feels like, and I think it was the right call. So he was really fun. The book was really fun. I gave it a cool 4 stars. It was just a good time. These continue to be really easy to read, really quick reads, and I'm having a lot of fun with them, and I can't wait to dive right into Summer Night, which I'll be doing very soon, which I'll talk about in the next section here. But before we get to that, I want to talk about the next book that I picked up, and that is the Silver Blood Promise. This, again, was terrific. These, again, all of the books that I'm about to talk about today were really good, so I'm going to say that a lot, but it was really good. This is like another fantasy murder mystery kind of book, although it feels very different. It doesn't feel as Sherlock Holmes as, say, A Tainted Cup and A Drop of Corruption. Those feel very Sherlock Holmes and Watson, but fantasy world, fantasy setting, fantasy murder mystery and stuff like that. And it is a murder mystery in that there is a murder and it's mysterious, right? That's true. But our main character doesn't make me think of, Sherlock or Watson or Anna or Din. So it felt different, which was refreshing from the other murder mysteries that I've read in the fantasy kind of hybrid space. Does that make sense? It was really good though. So it's pretty much like this guy. What's his name? He has a name. The main character. His name is written down in the book, and I can't think of it right now, but whatever, doesn't matter. He exists, and he is kind of disgraced. His family is of some notoriety, and he challenges somebody to a duel, and bad things happen, and basically his family has to pay a lot of money, like kind of their entire fortune, to kind of make amends for the outcome of this duel, and his life just kind of goes downhill from there for a while. He's estranged from his family. He goes and lives on the streets pretty much, and he's just like gambling, drinking, and just, waiting out his existence pretty much. But then eventually something happens. There's a murder, there's a mystery, and he gets kind of thrust into figuring it out, picking up all the pieces. And I don't want to tell you really much more about that right now because I don't want to spoil anything pretty much. But I do highly recommend you pick this up. I considered doing a full review for this book, and I still might do one at some point, but book 2 is coming out really soon. The Blackfire Blade, I'm pretty sure it's called, and I think I might just wait until I read that one and then I could just kind of review both of them. So we'll see, but more thoughts probably coming soon to a video near you. All you need to know right now though is that this is terrific, and if you like murder mystery kind of books, this one is good. If you also like fantasy, this is a good one to pick up. There's cool. It's a cool world. There's cool kind of creatures in it. The magic is interesting, and it's not necessarily like a hard magic system. So if you like that, it's a little bit on the softer side. No real complaints outside of the fact that this was a debut novel, and that kind of showed a little bit. There was a little bit of, here and there, a character would say something, and it felt like they were saying it because the author wanted me to know something about this world or to understand something better. And most of the time when that happened, I caught it and I was like, oh, I didn't need that. Like, I already got that. I understood that, or I was able to put those pieces together on my own. I don't need you to hold my hand through those sort of explanations. And it doesn't fit the scene, right? So the guy will walk in, somebody will walk into the background, and then our main character overhears somebody be like, oh, that's old Bill from the lumberyard, and his son is married to Nancy's daughter. And it's like, okay, cool. I could have got there like by just you showing me that in a different way instead of just explaining that. That's a horrible example, and it's fictional, obviously, but that sort of thing happens. There's just, you overhear conversations, or people interject in a conversation with something that is very just like a quick little lore dump, and I just don't need it. And I'm curious to see if the author, James Islington, is that the author? No, James Logan. I'm curious to see if I can see his growth from book 1 to book 2. I feel like if those things were cleared up, this would have been an easy 5 stars. For me, it landed up in the 4.5 territory, which still phenomenal. So that's all I have to say on that one today. Highly recommend it. From there, I switched gears and went into finally reading my first memoir. I read I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy. I put out a full review video of this one, so I'm, again, not going to go into full details here, but this was a raw, honest take on being a child in an abusive kind of just world, like an abusive family, but also she's Jeanette McCurdy is one of the stars of iCarly, so she's a child actor, or a former child actor, and it kind of talks about her struggles with that and being in the industry, which we already know is a pretty toxic industry, especially when you are put into it kind of against your will. It wasn't her idea to be in showbiz, it was her mother's idea, and it's just her dealing with that. It's really good. It's just the story of her life, and how she overcomes some things and how some things you can't really overcome. It was definitely worth a read. I, again, have a full video where I talk about that. I'll link to that below. Feel free to go check that out for more. I would highly recommend reading this, though. I gave it a 4 something, like a 4 point something at the time, but I have since decided that this is just it's a 5-star read from me. So I gave it the full 5 there, and I have no regrets about that. Then I went on and I read Once Was Willem, which I have right here on my shelf. I'll take it off so you can see the cover right there. It's a bit shiny because I have like a little protective cover on it. So gotta try to get the angle right. But Once Was Willem, again, fantastic. This was possibly my favorite read of the month, which is crazy because I just talked about 3 books that I loved. But again, another cool 5-star read. This was just easy. Like an easy read, easy to love. The characters were great. The world was interesting. The tone was interesting. This was like very much, at least the beginning, gave me some Frankenstein vibes. It was almost Frankenstein meets, I don't know, like found family, unlikely characters coming together, unifying for a good cause sort of thing. They pretty much, the story is Willem is a child. Willem exists. He is real. He is born into the world and he breathes. And he grows sick. He becomes ill, and his parents are kind of grieving over the fact that he is assuredly going to die very soon. And so they hike out to a different town to find a wizard or a sorcerer, and they plead their case to him, and they say, we want you to save our son. Or really, at that point, we want you to bring him back because he has died at this point, right? And this is not spoilers. This is early. The book is called Once Was Willem because the character dies, comes back, and then starts referring to himself as Once Was Willem, because I was Willem, and now I am me. So anyway, the sorcerer agrees. The sorcerer comes, brings him back, and then it kind of goes from there. There's it's a pretty short book. It's 300 odd pages, something like that. So I don't want to go too far into it. It's under 300 pages. Yeah, so I don't want to give you much more than that. You get all the pieces pretty early, or sort of. It's all delivered in a very cool way. It was, the chapter titles were, they're all just like, this is the chapter where this is going to happen. This is the chapter where this is going to happen. Like, they're all, chapter 5, when I met this person, and then we read chapter 5 and Once Was Willem meets that person. It was kind of cool. And so you're kind of given, you can get a summary of the things that happened just by going through the book and reading the chapter titles, which was neat. I thought that the way it was all handled was well. The story was paced in a really cool way. The way they went from area to area in terms of kind of point of view of the point of view of the story that we're watching, kind of. I thought that was really well done. I like that we jumped back and forth between areas and between characters, and for a little while it almost felt like I was reading short stories, like it's a collection of short stories, but they are all connected the entire time. It just, by saying that it read a little bit like short stories, I mean more that the chapters, some of them are almost self-contained for a little bit until they come back and link together. He'll meet a character, and that's really cool. That was fun. And then we leave that character, and I know that character is going to come back because we just spent a whole chapter on them, and we've done this with several other characters at this point, and it just, when they come back, it's exciting. and it just, I don't know how to explain it really, but it was really well done. This is another one where I think if I had finished this a couple days earlier, the review I put out for I'm Glad My Mom Died would have been a review for Once Was Willem. I think I still might want to record that review because primarily I think there should be more reviews here on YouTube about this book. Last time I checked, there are at least three videos that I could find that are specifically reviews for Once Was Willem. So I would love to just, I don't know, help boost that on the internet in whatever small way I'm able to, because I want more people to read this. I want more people to be talking about this book. It was really, really terrific. Highly recommend this one, Once Was Willem by M.R. Carey. After I put that down, I was almost worried about what my next book was going to read, because I was like, how am I going to read something that lives up to that? Because I had such a good time. But then it was really easy because I went onto the internet and I mentioned the books that I was considering to some people, and somebody was like, oh, just read this one. And that book was, or short story really, The Monster of, what is it? Light Tower Library. This is a book by Morgan Stang. It's a short story by Morgan Stang, I should say. It came out, I think, last month, maybe the month before. It takes place after book 1 in this series, that book being the Murder at Spindle Manor, which I loved. And then this short story came out, and it takes place between book 1 and book 2, which was perfect timing for me because I haven't picked up the second book yet. And I read this in 2 sittings. It's like 50 something pages. So that was really easy, and it was so fun. Another 5 stars. If you can rate short stories, I choose to. 5 stars easily. It just, the characters in this series are so interesting, or I don't know if interesting is even the word. Fun is definitely the word, though. The main character, Isabeau Agarwal, I think is how you pronounce it. It's an odd spelling. It's fantastic. She's very much like the Sherlock Holmes kind of character, because this is a murder mystery type series. But there's not necessarily like a Watson character yet. So it's just the Sherlock Holmes part, and then a cast of quirky characters, and it's a different set of characters. It's a different mystery than the first one. Some of the characters carry over, though, and those characters are great. And I was glad to see the ensemble that carried over from book 1 to this short story. And I'm very curious to see who comes in book 2 and how book 2 progresses the story. I think it's just going to be another murder mystery that Isabeau solves, and I'm stoked for that. I think I'm going to be reading that very early this month. These are kind of novella length, I think. At least the first one was a novella. This is a short story. And then book 2, Murder on the Lamplight Express, I think is a little, like, it's past 200 pages. So I think technically it's beyond the novella length, but I'm not entirely sure. The Murder on Lamplight Express, I think, is going to be what it sounds like. It sounds like it's kind of a fantasy version of Murder on the Orient Express, right? It's a murder mystery on a train. I think that's super fun. So I'm very excited for that. This was fantastic. If you have not read Murder at Spindle Manor, I would definitely recommend you pick that up. It's very short, because again, it's a novella, and the audiobook actually just came out, I believe. I know you can pre-order the audiobook for the second book now, so I think that means that the audiobook for the first one is finally out. So if that's your jam, I haven't tried the audiobook, but if that helps you get into this series, do it. Pick it up. It's really, really good. Really, definitely worth your time. So yeah, you heard that right. That's 3 5-star reads, 1 4.5, and 1 4. That's phenomenal. That's insane. I've been talking a lot recently about how I've been kind of bummed about how my reading year has gone this year, because I haven't had any 5-star reads, and then boom, 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 I got a bunch. Stoked. Love it. I'm hoping to keep that going. And I know that I'm going to, at least for my current read, which I'm almost finished with, the next Dungeon Crawler Carl book, which is book 4, the what's it called? The Gate of the Feral Gods. Dungeon Crawler Carl book 4 is really good. I think it's better. I think it's better than the first 3. It's definitely on par with like book 1, which was my favorite so far. It's really good. It's been a lot of fun. It's more than just fun too, because there's been a lot of character growth. There were a couple somber moments in it, which I'm always so surprised how Matt Dinniman can do that. He can be so funny and so irreverent, and then all of a sudden tug at your heartstrings for a quick second, and you're like, oh wait, okay, there's real emotion and real characters in this dopey little story that you're writing. It's just so much more than jokes and crazy world, like crazy sci-fi adventure. It's has a lot of heart, surprisingly. To be clear, it is mostly jokes and nonsense and chaos, but I'm always surprised by how much heart it has. This being book 4 of a series, I can't tell you much more about that. Plus, I haven't finished it yet, so I wouldn't do that anyway. But it is really good. I'll talk to you more about it next month when I do fully finish it. Hey, it's me again. I recorded this video that I'm editing right now earlier in the day, and I have since finished Dungeon Crawler Carl book 4, The Gate of the Feral Gods. Everything that I said in the video so far that you've seen all remained true until the end. I think I'm going to land like a 4.5 maybe. I might have landed at a 4 honestly, but then I got to the epilogue, and the epilogue in this book was insane. So I feel like it has to get a 4.5. It was nuts. There's a lot that happened in the epilogue. Like a lot of just you gotta catch up, get to the epilogue of book 4. It's really good. The series continues to be super fun. I can't wait now to get to book 5. I'm trying to figure out when I can fit in book 5. I don't think it'll be August, but probably September. Super exciting. Anyway, back to past me. And then I'm also reading All-Star Superman, which is a comic book. I watched the Superman movie right around when that came out, and it was really good, and I can't stop playing the songs in my head and watching like little clips of it on the internet. It's really good. It's really fun. It's just like a feel-good Superman movie. I've never been a Superman fan. I have not really just like gotten Superman fandom and like the interest around him. I always felt like he was, too much of a Boy Scout and all that, but this movie made me like get him. I understand the hype finally. And so this comic book exists, and a couple friends, including Sam Harrison, hi Sam, wanted to read it together, and I've been dragging my feet on it, even though I am really enjoying it. I'm almost halfway through, just about. Is really good. It's it's not phenomenal. Not every like issue is blowing me out of the water so far, but again, I'm not even quite halfway through. It sounds like it just kind of gets better and better. The one that I just read, which was the 5th, I think, of 12 issues, was the best so far. And so if it's just going to keep getting better, I could see this, just getting really good by the end. It's just, yeah, good time. And those are all the books that I read or am currently reading this month. So now on to next month, the month of August. What do I plan on reading there? And I got a lot. There's a lot planned, and I don't know that I'm super confident that I'll get through all of it, but I'm going to do my best. The only ones that I know for a fact that I'm going to be reading are Carmilla, which is a very short, I think, novella. It might technically be a short story. I'm not entirely sure, but it is like in the Dracula setting, and that's pretty much all I know about it. But I wanted to read it for a while. Like since I read Dracula, I wanted to read this, and then a couple people wanted to buddy read it. They're already going to read it together, and they invited me to read it with them. That's Alvin and Danny. Alvin of just being a friend of the channel, and Danny actually of being both a friend of the channel and also somebody who has their own YouTube channel. So I will link to them below. Maybe I'm sure they'll be talking about this book at some point on their channel. So I highly recommend their channel. They're fantastic. I've loved every video they put out. So yeah, that's the first book that I'm going to be reading after I finish the 2 that I'm reading now. Again, super short. I think the audiobook is like 3 hours ish. So that's like, a day or 2 of audiobook time for me, because I listen on 2 times speed whenever I'm doing like chores around the house. So that should be easy. And then I'm picking up Dresden Files book 4, which is called something. Summer Night. It's called Summer Night. I honestly don't know what this like monster of the week is for this book, but it's more Dresden, and I'm excited to get back into that world with him. So looking forward to that. That's again part of a buddy read that I'm doing, or that I'm participating in on Andrew Watson's Discord. So yeah, that should be fun. It should also be like just a few days for me, because these books are really quick. I think I've read all of them in 3 or 4 days a piece so far. So that's an easy one. And then the last one that I know I'm going to read this month is The Failures by Benjamin Liar, which I have over there. It's just out of reach, and I'm lazy, so I'm not going to go get it. But I have a whole video on this one because I'm going to be running a buddy read for this book this month. So if you need something to read this month, feel free to join in. I'll have a link to the Fable below, and I'll link to the video where I kind of announced the buddy read as well. I kind of go into a little bit of a book preview for the book, so it's my thoughts on what this book is going to be about and what the experience is going to be like. So feel free to check that out. I would love for you to join in on the buddy read. I have it set for just like a check-in every week, and it's just going to be each week-ish. There's a little bit difference you'll see on the schedule if you join, but we're going to be talking about each part of the book because it was very nicely split into 4 parts, so that made that easy. After that, it's a little bit up in the air what I'm going to be reading. Murder on the Lamplight Express is very high on my list. Again, that's the next one in the Lamplight Murder Mysteries that I just talked about, the short story. So that is very high on my list now after reading the short story. I'm very excited to continue that series. So very possibly we'll be picking that one up. But I would also really like to read Crying in H Mart, which is another memoir, because I'm kind of on this high after reading I'm Glad My Mom Died, and I kind of want to try more memoirs now. I've wanted to try memoirs anyway, but now after loving one of them, the one that I read, I kind of want to keep that going. So I might pick that up again. It's like a pretty short read. And again, I have it on my shelf right over there. So we'll see. I think that's going to happen this month. But I also really want to read, where is it? The Dance of Shadows by Ragba Payne. Andrew Watson, another friend of the channel, hello Andrew, is doing a buddy read for this over on his channel and on his Discord. So I've been stoked about this book. I have this beautiful copy of it, and I think it's got to be the time. If there's a buddy read going on, I would love to participate in that. It just might be hard having, reading this and also doing my own buddy read, but I'm going to do my best. I really, really, really want to pick this up. If I don't finish it this month, I definitely want to read it next month, but I'm hoping that I can get to this month as well. And if I can somehow manage to read all of those books that I just mentioned, I have some stretch goals as well. So if I could, I would love to pick up the Blackfire Blade, or not pick it up. I have it already. I got the arc, which I didn't expect to get, but I have the e-arc for Blackfire Blade, which is book 2, following the Silverblood Promise, which I believe comes out this month, like the month of August. So I would love to be able to read that and put out a review before the book drops, as is the intention of these arcs. It's pretty stacked. So we'll see if I can get there. If I can't, if I know it's not going to work and I'm not going to be able to finish it and review it before the book comes out, I'll probably shift that into next month, and in favor of one of the other books on my list. We'll see. I am excited to continue that series, so it's good timing, honestly. But then I also really want to read The Lost War by Justin Lee Anderson. Mair of Later Mair Reads screams about this book all the time, and this series in general. There's 3 out. I think the 4th book is coming out soon, possibly also in August. I'm not entirely sure, but supposed to be really good. Sam Harrison also just read this, and he just talked about it in the video as well. It just sounds really cool. It sounds almost like old man fantasy, like classic fantasy style, maybe. And yeah, I don't know. It just sounds good. If you're curious to hear more about it, go check them out. Lady Mair Reads and Sam Harrison, because again, they both talk about it and highly praised it. Sam just gave it a 5 stars, which that's the most stars you can get. So that's good. I don't know much about it except that it takes place after some war that they lost. I initially thought that it meant like the Lost War, like the war that is missing, or like lost to time or something. I wasn't sure what that means, but it sounds like they have lost a war and it's them dealing with the aftermath of that. Potentially, we'll see. I did watch Sam's video and Mair's videos on it, but for some reason I'm blanking on more details than that. And lastly, I would really love to read The Names by Florence Knapp. This I talked about once before. I bought this at the same time that I bought Once Was Willem and The Dance of the Shadows, or The Dance of Shadows by Ragba Payne. I bought these all over in Tunbridge Wells at Station Bookshop, which is a bookshop run by Laura and Ross over at Hardy's Books, and Ross over there is reading it, or just finished it. I think he's still reading it, and said it's absolutely devastating and really good. And so I really want to pick that up. It sounds really good. It's like a somebody gives birth to a child and they have to go name that child. And when they get there, it kind of breaks the timeline into three. Not literally, I don't think, but like I don't think it's like a sci-fi or whatever kind of book. Like I don't think it's that. I think it's just more just the story of three possibilities. So three potential timelines. If she chooses to name her son the name she wants to name it, if she chooses to name their son the name that her daughter picked out for the son, or if she wants to name the son after the father, this abusive father, or I guess abusive husband of hers. So that just sounds really interesting already, right? That premise is really clever. To see the impact that something as simple as a name could have is really intriguing, and having it play out three different ways, I assume, kind of like side by side, chapter to chapter, going between the choice. Just yeah, could be really good. And again, Ross said it's devastating, so I think definitely trigger warnings for this one. Like you should look those up if you're sensitive to those things that I talked about. Like abuse, I think, is the main one. So yeah, look that up because I'm not sure, but sounds really good despite that. And that's all I got for books. Those are the books that I read, the books that I'm reading, and the books that I'm planning on reading. So let's talk channel stats real quick, and then I'll let you go. This month I put out 5 videos. There was kind of a bonus week this month because of the way calendars are shaped. So, you know, that happened, but I also put out a bonus video because my Buddy Read launch video came out just like on a random day during a week because it was a quick video that I could throw together. So that was cool. It's I think the most videos I've ever put out in a month. That 5, and then especially if you count this video here, the 6th one, I haven't done that. So that's cool. And they performed pretty well. I'm well for my channel. I'm pleased with it at least. And I had a lot of fun with them all. The one that did the best, like the highest performing video based on like metrics alone, like views at least, is definitely my mid-year freakout video that I did. I almost didn't do it, honestly, but I like to watch them, and I was like, whatever, I'll do that. And then it ended up, right now it has 1,310 views, which again, that's really high for me. So that's fun. I haven't had a video do that well in a very long time, and it also had a bunch of comments as well, so a lot of engagement too. That was really cool. I enjoyed that. I forgot to do the tag part at the end, but it sounds like a lot of my friends here on the internet saw that video and then made their own anyway, even though I didn't tag them. So I did the tag wrong, but it worked out. I enjoyed it, and a lot of people seem to watch it. It also gained a lot of subscribers for the channel. So I can see on the YouTube Studio app where my subscribers come from, more or less. And 78 people clicked the subscribe button while watching that video, which is huge. I got 9 subscribers last month and 9 subscribers the month before that. And this month I had a total of 134 subscribers, which is nuts. That doesn't happen often. So that was really cool. If you joined me this past month, thank you so much for watching and for deciding to click the button. If you are watching this, by the way, and you haven't clicked the button, consider doing that. I would love to have you, but no pressure. Based on comments alone, the most commented video that I had was the Q2 wrap up that I did. We finished the first half of the year, so I put out a video where I talked about like my goals that I've set for myself for this year, and I just checked in on kind of all the goals and went over some stats of like how my reading has been going. And there were over 50 comments. 51 comments. Obviously half of those are me replying to people, but still that's a lot. So that was the most commented video for sure. So that's always cool to see. Love that when people get involved and dive into the comments and talk to me there. That's kind of the whole point of this. So that was really cool to see as well. And then I always think it's fun to talk about the like weakest performing video or like the lowest performing video. I never know how to phrase it because everything sounds like I'm disappointed in the video, but I'm not. I'm proud of this video. I thought it was probably the most fun to make, even though it was the easiest. Maybe that's why it was the most fun. I sat down, I talked, and I pretty much posted the video. There's very little editing. There's very little overhead. Honestly, I just did it, and that was just my failures buddy read video that I put out. It was really short, really easy to make, and again, engaging. I think there was a few comments, which, numbers wise, there were not as many comments as those other videos that I just talked about, but based on how many views it got, I'm pleased with how many comments it got, if that makes sense. Plus, it's a niche video because it's about a buddy read that I'm doing, and I there's not a ton of people that are going to be joining on that buddy read, which is why I put it out as like a bonus video, because it's kind of like, extra credit. If you really want to get involved with the channel, go ahead and join this buddy read. That's kind of what it's about. So yeah, that was fun. That was my lowest performing video, though. It had 137 views, which is fine. But it was my favorite video that I made this month, I think. That or the mid-year freak out. Those were both very fun to make. Oh, also fun to mention, the review that I did for I'm Glad My Mom Died. That one I did put a lot of work into that review. Just like a little bit of scripting, and I watched some interviews of Jeanette McCurdy after reading the book, because I was interested in doing that. But that helped with the review. I think I'm proud of how that review came out. I think it was pretty thorough, and yeah, I think it gave a good idea of the book. So I'm proud of that review, and it's the reviews that I post don't reach as wide an audience as my other videos tend to, which makes sense, again, because they're like, it's a niche kind of video, right? You have to, not everybody watches reviews. People that watch reviews, though, like reviews, and people that watch, that want to read a book are going to watch a review, right? But this is a book that's not in my typical genres that I go over here on this channel. So, it's niche, but the video did well for a review on my channel. It did very well. So I'm really pleased with that. It did, I don't have the number here, but it's around 200 views, I think, like 180 views or something like that, which is the second most viewed review video that I've done so far. I've only done 4 or 5, so maybe that doesn't say much, but that's cool. It was cool to see. I was happy to see that, and there was a lot of engagement too in the comments. So super fun. Next month, I am not entirely sure what I'm going to be doing. I know that I'll have this video at the end of next month, again, like my wrap up of the month. I know that I'll have my TBR Cole video for next month. That one is the one where I'm going to be trying to catch up on all the comments and all the question marks that I've left on my TBR culling series, like spreadsheet. So if you are familiar with that series, you might know what I'm talking about there. If you're not, I have a series here where I talk about my Goodreads TBR, and I try to trim it down. So there's a playlist on the channel if you want to catch up, feel free. So that video will be going out probably the third week of the month, and before that, I'm not really sure. I think I am gonna do a review probably for Once Was Willem, again, because I want more people to talk about that video. So that'll probably be happening. Maybe Silverblood Promise gets its own review. Not sure. I might do a video where I kind of talk about my board game shelves downstairs and like my top 5 board games in my collection, something like that. I think I would love to do more board game content, I always say, but it's harder to make. So that might be one that I tackle. I think that could be fun. I'm also considering doing some sort of video for my buddy read of the failures. It might be like a reading vlog, like maybe I'll video or record myself kind of throughout the month as I read the book, talking about my thoughts along the way, like a spoiler-filled kind of reading vlog. Maybe a spoiler-free reading vlog. I don't know if those are done, if those are like interesting, or if it's just like a lot of me saying the same thing, like this book is fun so far, but not telling you any information. So I'm not really sure how I'm going to structure that. Maybe it'll just be a review of the failures at the end. I think it'll at least be that, because I just think that's a nice like bonus to doing the buddy read, is getting my full thoughts in a video. So maybe that. Let me know if you're interested in like more of a vlog style video for that. Yeah, I've never done one of those, but could be fun. And that's kind of it. If you have any ideas for something that you would like to see or know about, let me know. Oh my God, I forgot. Actually, that's not it. Huge milestone coming up. I forgot entirely. I gotta plan for this. There's the end of the month, end of August, will be my 1-year anniversary here on the internet. So I should do something about that. Maybe that'll shift around the calendar a little bit. Yeah, I have to put some thought into that. Curious to hear what you would want to see, honestly, for my 1-year celebration. I have a couple things in mind. It could be just like what I learned in my first year here on YouTube. It could be kind of a creator spotlight type video where I talk about, the YouTubers that I like to watch and kind of try to spread the love a little bit. Maybe I'll do a collaboration with other YouTubers and have them recommend a book to me or something. I've seen that done before. I know Campbell at Campbell Read, he did something similar. I know Hardy's Books did something similar. So maybe something like that. I'm not sure. Honestly, there's a lot of options. Maybe it'll just be like here's the best books that I read every month, or here's the top 5 books that I've read in my year here on YouTube. Honestly, I'm open to ideas. So if you want me to do any of those, or if you have your own idea, if you want me to do a Q&A, I don't know, let me know. Really, I'm all ears. I have a lot of ideas and I can't decide. So let me know what you think you'd like to see. My camera died 2 seconds before I was done filming today's video, but all I had left was that I wanted to say thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next week. Bye.